Yo, what's good, YouTube? What's good, Maniac Mafia? Yo, we got the mystery of the world's strongest drug with Fern. You feel me? Trying to bring y'all back another Fern reaction. Yo, let's get to it. You feel me? What y'all think the world's strongest drug is? I ain't gonna lie. I think it's Fenty. You feel me, child? I think it's Fenty. A lot of niggas, again, I said, I was like, they say it's crack. It ain't no fucking crack. Niggas been smoking crack since the 70s, chat. You feel me? And doing the most outrageous shit. I promise you, crack ain't shit no more compared to what the fuck niggas got 2026. So let's get into it and see what the fuck Fern got for us and seeing what the world's strongest drug is. Because I'm heavily fucking convinced it's fentanyl. But let's see if niggas can prove me wrong.
This is test subject 34. She's just been given a substance often described as the most powerful psychedelic drug in the world.
Psychedelic.
It makes her feel like she's being launched into outer space. Other users report near-death experiences, profound insights, and mythical encounters with spiritual beings. The drug appears to shake the very foundations of human perception.
It is one of the most weird and...
I know this is an animation. Fuck that. This bitch is paralyzed. She dead but alive, bro. What the fuck? Yo, imagine a real person face... Nigga, what?
unexpected things a person can go through.
We're talking about dimethyltryptamine, or DMT, and its pure synthetic.
Dimethyltryptamine. Okay, it's not that hard to pronounce. I just want to make sure I'm saying it right, Chad. DMT. You feel me? We just gotta make sure we saying this right for when we fucking saying this shit. Don't take DMT. Stay away from DMT.
Form, it looks like an inconspicuous crystalline powder.
It's a very simple molecule.
And yet, DMT has been puzzling scientists around the globe for more than a century. The substance has been used in indigenous cultures for thousands of years. It occurs naturally in plants, animals, and even in the human body.
What?
But when it interacts with our brain, things seem to go completely off the rails. Many users say DMT fundamentally changed their lives. And yet, other experiences suggest there's more to DMT than profound revelations, mystical encounters, and medical promise. For some people, the substance can also open doors to the darkest corners of their consciousness.
Nah, I'm good.
This is the enduring mystery of DMT.
Yo, Fern, what the fuck? Yo, chat, niggas is cooking up. Hold on, Fern. I didn't know y'all niggas is in the studio. Nah, hold on. Captain One, let's lock in.
November 1852. This is British botanist Richard Spruce. For the past 3 years, he's been making his way through the Amazon rainforest to study plants. He's particularly interested in mosses. Along the way, he keeps encountering indigenous communities living deep in the jungle. He learns their languages and studies their customs.
You really lucky that them niggas ain't kill you, bro. I'll be honest, you said 1852 and you're white and them niggas have probably never seen the white man before and then they're an indigenous tribe. Yeah, nigga, yo, bro. You're lucky them niggas ain't scalp you, bro. What? You was a brave man. I ain't gonna lie, but the white niggas back then, they was brave as shit. Let's be honest.
Right now, Spruce
Napoleon?
is staying with an indigenous
Short as
group
fuck.
in what is
Brave as a
now
motherfucker.
northwestern Brazil. Today is a special occasion. The tribe is about to hold a spiritual ceremony, and at the center of it all is this ritual brew. Its key ingredient is a specific type of liana. Indigenous people have been drinking or chewing it for thousands of years. Some groups call it napa, others bako, or pinde. This group calls it kapi. And tonight, Spruce is going to try it himself.
Love me, oh baby.
He watches several young members of the community drink the mixture before him. He notes that, for about 10 minutes, they appear to be possessed with reckless fury. Then they calm down and simply continue dancing. Then it's his turn. But the tribe didn't just prepare kapi for him.
I had scarcely dispatched 1 cup of the nauseous beverage when the ruler of the feast came up with a woman bearing a large calabash of mandioca beer called kashiri.
After that, protocol demands that he talk.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. That is how you gonna get a nigga to drink some shit. You feel me? Hey, you gonna bring the baddest bitch from the tribe. They be like, you gonna drink this shit. I ain't gonna lie. Hey. How many of y'all niggas? Hey, niggas is drinking this shit.
He's offering a cigar
Come on, now.
and a cup of palm wine. Spruce has to fight off the urge to vomit and stretches out in a hammock. The
Nigga
copy
fucking
is
about to
slowly
die.
kicking in. He later notes in his journal that white men taking copy all seem to report the same experience.
Help! Help! Help me! Help!
Which
They
is?
feel alternations of cold and heat, fear and boldness. The sight is disturbed, and visions pass rapidly before the eyes, wherein everything gorgeous and magnificent they have heard or read of seems combined, and presently the scene changes to things uncouth and horrible.
Hey, this is Jonas, one of the founders of Fern. It's not just psychedelics that can shape our minds. Our thoughts and emotions are molded by relationships, opportunities, but also on 10%.
One of these encounters takes place in 1857 among an indigenous group in Peru. They also use the vine to prepare a powerful brew. They mix it with other plants and call it ayahuasca. Spruce apparently doesn't drink it himself this time. Instead, he asks the locals to describe their experiences to him. To Spruce, the brew remains an unsolved mystery. He simply can't figure out which particular substances cause these extreme effects. He's already familiar with opium and cannabis.
I said, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait, first of all, you're not going to speed past that like you didn't just say what you just said.
But copy seems to be much more potent. What he doesn't realize is that he's been looking in the wrong place.
Hold on. You smoking weed and opium? That's a crazy ass mix, bro. What the fuck? Yo.
The plant he sent back to Europe isn't the key ingredient. Technically,
and then you
it's
over
not
here
the
doing
liana
more
or Banisteria copy that produces the intoxicating effect. The real trigger is a special compound found in the leaves mixed into the brew. DMT, more precisely, N-DMT. Its molecular structure is surprisingly simple compared to other psychedelics. Its complete name is N-dimethyltryptamine, but we'll simply refer to it as DMT throughout this video. German-Canadian chemist Richard Mansk was the first to synthesize the substance in the early 1930s. Back then, he had no idea of its extraordinary psychoactive effects.
He looked like the type
At
of
its
nigga
core,
to do drugs.
DMT is characterized by a nitrogen atom bonded to two methyl groups, hence the name dimethyl. A methyl group consists of one carbon atom bonded to three hydrogen atoms. It's one of the simplest building blocks in organic chemistry. The nitrogen atom is connected via a short carbon chain to the most important part of the molecular structure, the so-called indole ring. The same structural feature can also be found in other known psychedelics like LSD or psilocybin, and within the molecular structure of serotonin. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter, a molecule that carries chemical messages or signals between nerve cells. It plays a key role in some of our most essential bodily functions, from mood, sleep, digestion, and nausea, to wound healing and sexual desire. Because of their structural similarity, psychedelics like DMT combine to the same receptors usually used by serotonin.
They're like key locks, and drugs are like specific keys that act on specific key locks. And so these classic psychedelic drugs, with which DMT is one of them, act on specific key locks in the brain, and specifically these serotonin receptors in the brain.
This is Chris Timmerman. He's a neuroscientist and one of the world's leading researchers on DMT.
I get what he's saying,
He spends much
but
of
I
his
need
time
more
traveling for
further
research,
explanation.
so
I'm
we're
not even
lucky
gonna
enough
cap.
to catch
I
him
need
on a
more
video call.
explanation.
It's likely that DMT was also the main active compound in the brew that Spruce encountered back in the jungle. Today, that mixture is widely known as ayahuasca. To produce it, you mainly need two ingredients.
Don't say that.
The first one consists of plants that contain DMT. They grow across large parts of the Amazon basin.
Okay, good. Okay, I'm about to say. So nobody could go get this shit. If you want to risk your life and go to the Amazon and go get this shit, by all fucking means, go do it. I ain't doing it. And I'm 99% sure this shit is illegal. I'm pretty sure.
Though not exclusively there.
Somebody
The second
search this up and
ingredient
tell
is
me
the
if it's
copy
illegal.
liana, documented by Spruce. It doesn't contain DMT itself, but it is crucial for making the DMT in the brew psychoactive. Mixing and boiling the two together produces the psychedelic plant drink known as ayahuasca. Psychedelics are generally considered physiologically safe and non-addictive. That's one of the key differences between them and drugs like cocaine or amphetamines. Those primarily act as stimulants. They artificially increase dopamine and norepinephrine levels in the brain and strongly activate our reward system. Psychedelics, on the other hand, alter perception itself. Users may see or hear things that aren't there, hallucinate, and lose their sense of time and space. Some report life-changing experiences. In many ways, psychedelic substances seem to fundamentally alter
Don't
how
do
we
drugs,
think
chat.
and feel,
Don't do
which is
drugs. Look
precisely
at
why
me. Don't
DMT
do
continues to
drugs.
fascinate scientists to this day.
In terms of the psychological impact of the experiences, in terms of the subjective effects it generates, it is one of the most weird and
Look at this. Somebody come look at this.
If you take a drug and the shit make you see this, you deserve everything that comes to you during that trip. I swear to you. I'm not even bullshitting, bro. Because what the fuck will possess you to take some shit that will make you see some shit like this? And I know this is an animation, so you feel me? It's not exactly what you would see, but really, let's like picture the shit, bro. Because you gonna trip. If you gonna trip, you gonna trip, bro. And this really be some shit that people be jacking that they be seeing. Nigga, why would you do that to yourself, bro? Weed is just fine. I'm not saying smoke weed, you feel me? I don't advocate for nobody to do the shit that we do or I do or anything else, you feel me? But gangster, if you gonna do it, be smart, bro.
unexpected things a person can go through.
Hell no, bro. He said hi in Switzerland.
April 19th, 1943, a bike path near Basel in Switzerland.
You can smoke weed in
This
Switzerland?
is Swiss chemist Albert Hoffmann. He works as a researcher for a Swiss pharmaceutical company. Riding next to him is his lab assistant. He explicitly asked her to come along. He's desperately trying to get home.
He high, man. He's hallucinating, smoking that shit. He's high.
Earlier that day, he started conducting an experiment on himself. He dissolved 250 grams of lysergic acid, diethylamide, in water and ingested it. He had synthesized the compound in the lab after isolating it from the ergot fungus. And right now, he's feeling a bit under the weather.
Everything in my field of vision wavered and was distorted as if seen in a curved mirror. I also had the sensation of being unable to move from the spot. Nevertheless, my assistant later told me that we had traveled very rapidly.
Stretching out on the couch back home doesn't help much either.
My surroundings had now transformed themselves in more terrifying ways. Everything in the room spun around, and familiar objects
No,
and
bro.
pieces of furniture
No,
assumed
bro.
grotesque, threatening forms. They were
Why would you do this shit to yourself, bro? First of all, I feel like this is what it will feel like to down 4, 5, maybe even 10 bottles of liquor. If you can survive that and not die from alcohol poisoning, this is the type of shit that you might see. Because we all have been there where you drunk as fuck and you go home and you lay down and the world is just spinning, my nigga, like gone. But I can only imagine, if shit is spinning and growing and fuck no. Fuck no, bro.
were in constant motion, animated as if driven by an inner restlessness. The lady next door, whom I scarcely recognized, brought me milk. She was no longer Mrs. R, but appeared instead as a malevolent, insidious witch wearing a colored mask.
Albert Hoffmann has just embarked on the world's first LSD trip. He has no idea what the substance does. He believed 250 micrograms to be prudently safe dose, but it turns out to be extraordinarily potent, and now he fears he may lose his mind. A few hours later, the effects slowly begin to soften. The trip becomes more pleasant. As he steps out into his garden after a spring rain, it feels as though he's seeing everything for the very first time.
It kicked in.
Everything glistened and sparkled in a fresh light.
From that day
My
on,
son seeing the
Hoffman is convinced
Boondocks
that this tiny
episode, like when
molecule
Robert
holds
smoked weed
enormous
for the
power,
first time.
that it could someday be of great value to medicine and psychiatry. His discovery jumpstarts the entire field of psychedelic research. Hoffman inspires many other scientists to follow his lead, and in the 1950s, he becomes the first to isolate the psychoactive compound psilocybin from psychedelic mushrooms. That's another major milestone. But psychedelic
This nigga became the first one to make fucking psychedelics.
research also turns its attention to DMT. Scientists discover more and more plants that contain the substance. To date, it has been found in at least 50 different plant species. DMT has also been found in mammals like rats and rabbits.
What?
In the 1960s, a German researcher team even found traces of the substance in human blood.
What?
Shortly after, U.S. Nobel Prize-winning scientist Julius Axelrod provided evidence that DMT occurs naturally in the human brain. It's even considered endogenous, meaning our own bodies produce it naturally.
There's a saying that says
Okay.
DMT is everywhere. And it is also found in the human body and in a lot of mammals' bodies as well.
Throughout the 1960s, scientists keep isolating DMT in humans, animals, and plants. And meanwhile, psychedelics are starting to seep into popular culture.
So you telling me we naturally just be getting high?
How often have you taken LSD?
About 4 times.
That's some white people shit right there. That's some white people shit.
The swinging 60s are the peak years of the hippie movement and psychedelics like LSD. The Cultural Revolution is fueled by activists, intellectuals, and artists alike. One of them is Terence McKenna.
Bunch
He's
of
just
fucking
studying at
hippies,
Berkeley.
bro.
He's 18 years old and has already done his fair share of experiments with psychedelics like LSD. But what he is about to experience tonight will eclipse everything he has ever felt. A friend has come to visit and brought this white crystalline powder.
Nope.
He claims it was stolen from a U.S. Army chemical research facility.
How would you ever take some shit that's stolen from a fucking from an army facility, bro? How the fuck? What? How you even get your hit?
It's DMT. And for the first time in his life, young Terence McKenna is about to smoke it.
Oh shit, here we go again.
I had this hallucination of tumbling forward into these fractal geometric shapes made of light, and then I found myself in the equivalent of the Pope's private chapel.
What?
And there were insect elf machines proffering strange little tablets with strange writing on them. These self-transforming machine elf creatures were speaking in a colored language which condensed into rotating machines that were like Fabergé eggs. All this stuff was so weird and so alien and so un-Englishable that it was a complete shock.
You done lost your damn mind. When you get your damn mind, you call me.
I mean, the literal turning inside out of my intellectual universe. It's like being struck by noetic lightning.
The experience completely changes McKenna's view of life and reality. He becomes convinced that there is another secret world, one we normally can't see or access. He drops out of university to chase this mystery. He travels to Nepal to meet Tibetan shamans. He works as a professional butterfly collector in Indonesia, and he ventures deep into the Colombian jungle with his brother and 3 friends.
That's some white people shit right there. That's some white people shit.
McKenna's description of the so-called machine elves becomes a cultural reference. Countless DMT users later report encountering mystical entities that closely match what he described. He dies in 2000, leaving behind an extensive audio archive with over 500 hours of theories on psychedelics and spirituality.
A drug like synthetic ayahuasca, pharmawaska, do people realize this is the same thing as has been taken for thousands of years down there? Do they?
How are we going to trust you, bro? You've been taking LSD for years, bro.
Healing.
By the late 1960s, authorities begin cracking down on the widespread drug use in the U.S.
Well, you know, I mean, if I was to say where I got it from, you know, it's illegal and everything. It's silly to say that.
In 1966, California and Nevada become the first states to outlaw the production, sale, and possession of LSD.
Good.
2 years later, the drug is banned across the entire country.
Good.
America's public enemy #1 is drug abuse.
America's war on drugs soon extends to much of the rest of the world. In 1971, the United Nations adopts the Convention on Psychotropic Substances. Many countries outlaw psychedelic substances and sharply restrict their use, including DMT. From that point on, only a handful of approved scientific institutions are allowed to continue their research on them, and even they have to adhere to extremely strict regulations. For decades, DMT research effectively grinds to a halt.
The whole class of compounds got pulled off the clinical bench, and no research has gone on.
Shit just need to be left the fuck
40
alone.
years.
One of the tragedies to me is that the clinical research on these substances pretty much stopped around 1970.
And just leave certain shit alone, bro. Stop touching shit.
Dr. Rick Strassman is a psychiatrist. He's set on bringing psychedelic research back to life. His study is the first attempt to observe the effects of psychedelic substances in humans in the US in over 20 years. He wants to know what DMT does to our mind and body. The participants are numbered. Sarah is subject 34. She's in her early 40s and lives with her second husband. She has 3 children and works as a freelance writer. She has told the researchers that an angel once visited her when she had a high fever as a child, and that every now and then she communicates with spirit guides for advice and support. She also suffers from depression. In her 20s, she overdosed on tranquilizers and was hospitalized for 2 weeks following the suicide attempt. Today, she wants to find out whether DMT can help her gain a deeper understanding of herself and her relationship to the universe.
You overdosed on fucking tranquilizers, and your fucking solution is to take more fucking psychedelics?
That bitch is crazy. Let me tell you why.
Is this skin color accurate to the person or the real person in the story? Because if it is, that explains a lot. I'm not gonna front. There's no bullshit, bro. We wouldn't do some shit like this, bro. We do a lot of stupid shit, but that ain't one of them. That's not even close to Hispanic people at HMO. Fuck out of here. And all the Asian people. Motherfucker.
The experiment is set to begin in just a few seconds. The onset of DMT's effects largely depend on how you consume it. Most recreational users smoke DMT using a glass pipe. This makes the effects kick in extremely fast, usually in under 1 minute.
Yeah, because it's going to hit the brain.
Tends to last only a couple of minutes before wearing off. The smoke tastes unpleasant and can trigger coughing fits. Another substance closely related to N and DMT is called 5-MeO-DMT. This YouTuber smoked it for one of his videos. Others try to consume it like this. This YouTuber
Go back. Look at this nigga. Look at this nigga. This nigga is ass up, bro. No bullshit. Nigga is legs open. Spread him like he's ready for a Diddy party, bro.
Boy, ain't no way, boy.
Look at this, bro.
This YouTuber smoked it for one of his videos. Others try to consume it like this. 5-MeO-DMT occurs naturally in secretions of the Colorado River toad. A common misconception is that licking the toad will get you high. It won't, and it can be extremely toxic. Most research today focuses on synthetic 5-MeO-DMT. It also kicks in very fast and strong, but tends to produce far fewer visual hallucinations than N and DMT.
You're just poisoning yourself. Stop fucking licking toads,
take a
bro.
few minutes to kick in, but the trip also lasts a bit longer. Ayahuasca usually contains the highest dose of DMT. The effects begin after around 45 minutes and can last several hours. But the brew is tough on the stomach. Many people have to throw up during the trip. 2 things are paramount for a pleasant DMT
something where you have to
set
throw
and
up.
setting, the right mix of emotional stability and soothing surroundings. Experts recommend a calm environment where users feel safe and are able to lie down comfortably. Mixing substances can be extremely dangerous. Some users avoid alcohol, masturbation, and watching the news before attending an ayahuasca retreat. But not even the best preparation can guarantee DMT won't produce what many call a bad trip. Some users online describe experiences that leave them shaken for days, with flashbacks to vivid hallucinations of falling or flying through tunnels, and encounters with frightening beings. Psychedelics can also worsen existing mental health issues. People who suffer from psychotic disorders or are mentally unstable should not take them. In general, DMT should never be used without professional guidance. Sarah's experience will be guided by Dr. Strassman. In clinical settings like this one, DMT is administered via IV injection. It hits almost instantly. Sarah has previously been given a low introductory dose to see how her body reacts to the substance. Recreational users are advised to start with similar test doses. Sarah's low-dose experience has been pleasant and relaxing. Now she's about to receive 5 full doses. She will go on 5 consecutive trips. After each one, Strassman will let her come down to check in with her.
How
She's
much
all
is
set.
each individual dose that
Sarah
you
can
gave
feel
her?
the cool touch of Strassman's hand, and she's trying to count her heartbeats.
I got to 3 beats. Then there was a sound, like a hum, that turned into a whoosh. And then I was blasted out of my body at such speed, with such force, as if it were the speed of light.
Hell to the no, to the no, 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 no. Hell no, no.
The colors were aggressive, terrifying. I felt as if they would consume me, as if I were on a warp speed conveyor belt heading straight into the cosmic, psychedelic buzzsaw. I was terrified. I felt abandoned. I'm completely and totally lost. I have never been so alone. I was scared, but I kept telling myself, relax, surrender, embrace. It was all flashing and whirling lights. I was rather disappointed. Here I'm expecting this profound spiritual experience, and I get Las Vegas. But then,
This
before I had much
bitch
time to
wanted
be
God and she saw a
disappointed,
kaleidoscope.
I flew on and saw clowns performing.
What?
They were like toys or animated clowns. I had the overwhelming urge to laugh. I was kind of self-conscious about it at first, but I couldn't contain myself, and I laughed out loud watching those clowns.
Just really picture, bro, you the doctor and you sitting there because you can't see none of this, and this bitch is just hysterically fucking laughing out of her mind like the Joker, bro. You would think this bitch is possessed by demons, bro. Yo, bro.
Suddenly, a pulsating entity appeared in the patterns. It sounds weird to describe it as Tinkerbell-like. It was trying to coax me to go with it. At first, I was reluctant, but I did want to go with it. I could tell the drug was starting to wear off, and I wasn't high enough to follow it. I told it I can't go with you now. See, they want me back. It didn't seem to be offended, and in fact, followed me back until I sensed it had reached its boundary.
What?
I felt like it was saying goodbye.
Sarah needs a short break. The start of her trip has been especially intense. That's something Timmerman hears from many of his own participants.
People can feel, especially at the beginning of the experience, that they're being launched from a rocket, as if they're like going into outer space and they're in a rocket. And so there's a strong feeling of energy and vibrations in their body. They are interacting with beings, spirits, entities, jesters, clowns.
That's Satan, bro. Let's be honest. That's Satan.
See these beings.
That's hell. Them niggas is taking this shit and it's taking niggas to hell. I'm being honest.
To something, to communicate and so forth.
These motherfuckers are seeing
Encounters with such beings
demons,
seem to be
and
common
this is some
experience in many
demonic
DMT
ass
trips.
fucking
For one
plan.
of his studies, Timmerman analyzed nearly 4,000 DMT experiences posted on Reddit. Almost half mentioned similar entity encounters. In a 2021 field study with 36 participants,
started with
almost
D.
everyone
D for
reported an
demonic.
encounter with some sort of sentient being. But how do these encounters actually unfold? That's what Baltimore's Johns Hopkins University asked over 2,500 DMT users in an online survey. The first question was about the primary senses involved in the encounter. Most participants reported seeing them, and more than half described hearing them. About a third said they could touch them, while some could even smell or taste them. A whopping 85% described their encounter as extrasensory or telepathic. The most common descriptive labels for the entities were
Them
beings,
niggas high
guides,
and
spirits,
thinking that they
aliens, and
getting
helpers.
superpowers, bro.
Most common labels were clowns, demons, gnomes, monsters, or devils.
Look.
As to the emotions,
Hold on. So you telling me 60% are seeing beings in general? 60%. I know y'all can't see the one at the top, but it's what it says. 60%. A lot of y'all saying y'all seeing guides. 43%. Spirits, aliens, helpers, angels, elves, clowns, demons, gnomes, monsters, and devils. So you telling me none of y'all over here is really seeing demons or devils, really, or monsters. But y'all thinking the shit that you seeing is aliens and spirits and guides. You thinking that what you're taking is some shit that guides you?
involved. Most participants reported feelings of love, trust, and joy. Only a minority experienced fear. 11% believed they had encountered religious figures, meaning some people think they saw God in these beings.
Stop it. Get some help.
This
wasn't God,
what
bro.
some of the research has found, and some people have reported that. And
Y'all
it's
niggas
interesting
sold the
because,
devil.
in a way, God is a personification.
Ain't no
of these,
drug on this earth
spiritual
gonna
or
show
mystical,
you
like,
God,
qualities
bro.
according to certain religions, and it seems that DMT stimulates those sort of experiences.
DMT appears to have a significant impact on people's religious beliefs and their sense of spirituality. This study surveyed users who reported so-called God encounter experiences during psychedelic trips. 25% described them as atheists before their trip, meaning they didn't believe in God. Afterwards, their number dropped to just 7%. Among ayahuasca users, atheist identification declined from 12 to 3%. Sarah, too, is deeply moved by these encounters. She's about to receive her final injection.
I went directly.
I think that study is wrong, bro.
They knew I was coming back. They told me there were many things they could share with us when we learn how to make more extended contact. Again, they wanted something from me, not just physical information.
What can you not tell me when I'm sober? Why you ain't come to me when I was sober, huh? What the fuck is so important that you gotta tell me every time I'm high? Please tell me. I want to know right now. Don't even fuck taking me somewhere. I don't want to go nowhere with you. What the fuck is so important that every time I gotta get high to talk to you? Explain it.
They were interested in emotions and feelings. I told them, we have
Word
something
around,
we can
niggas
give
getting
you,
paid a lot.
spirituality.
I swear to y'all.
I guess what I really meant was love.
You know, fuck it.
I tried to figure out how to do this. I felt a tremendous energy, brilliant pink light with white edges, building on my left side. I knew it was spiritual energy and love. They were on my right, so I reached out my hands across the universe and prepared to be a bridge. I let this energy pass through me to them. I said something like, see, there, I did it for you.
Bitch, you better not be letting this shit out in the fucking earth. Fuck you
I was coming
mean?
down off the DMT, losing altitude.
Keep this shit with you.
Sarah didn't expect to become what she called an earthly spiritual emissary during her trip. She doesn't feel comfortable with that role, but has done her best to live up to it.
Yo, bro,
Now
why
it's the
y'all
next
always gotta
participant's
fuck
turn.
my shit up, bro?
Number 35.
Fuck
Over
no.
the course of 5 years, Strassman observes hundreds of these trips. He administers about 400 doses of DMT to 60 volunteers.
This nigga's a drug dealer. This nigga's a drug dealer. Yo, you telling me you fucking stabbed up 400 people with this drug? Use the drug. Yo, alright, bro.
He eventually calls DMT the spirit molecule because of the spiritual and metaphysical experiences it appears to induce. Strassman's work in the 1990s was groundbreaking research, but it also raised more questions than it could answer.
Groundbreaking.
Since then, many neuroscientists have picked up where he left off. So what's actually happening inside our brain when we take DMT?
Go crazy. Ah, go stupid. Ah, go crazy. Go stupid. Ah, go crazy. Yeah. Go stupid. Go crazy. A little bit.
Yo, bro.
Modern neuroscience suggests that our brain has a hierarchical modular organization. Modular means that certain nerve cells work together in different types of clusters or brain networks, specialized in specific functions. There appears to only be a limited amount of communication between these networks. Hierarchical means that higher order areas, like the prefrontal cortex, collect signals from different areas across the brain to coordinate appropriate responses. But that entire organization seems to pretty much collapse when our brain is on DMT. The key players here are these special serotonin receptors. They determine how sensitive neurons react to incoming signals. That, in turn, impacts how information is transmitted and processed within and across brain regions. When DMT binds to these receptors, the brain's usual top-down control mechanisms become less effective. It's like the neurochemical reins come off. One of the experts we talked to thinks DMT makes the brain become more democratic. Another calls it anarchy.
Democratic or demonic, bro? Y'all playing with me, bro. Yo, yo.
Boy, ain't no way, boy.
Y'all playing with the wordplay. Because you're using words like anarchy with democratic. Does that make sense to y'all, chat? Does that make sense to anybody here? When have you ever heard the word democracy or democratic with anarchy? Unless you're talking about Trump. Just being honest. But other than that, It has never come up like that, bro. Y'all just put demonic, bro. I love YouTube editing. Thank you. There we go, chat. You feel me? I just had to put that right there because I ain't gonna lie. Just for a little quick second. Just for a little quick second. Because there ain't no way. I knew what y'all motherfuckers was trying to do. Fuck out of here.
Either way, the brain suddenly enters a state in which far more areas communicate with each other than usual. Scientists call this global hyperconnectivity. It's completely different from how the brain normally operates. But how does this explain these extremely vivid hallucinations? Why do some users feel as if they're entering an entirely different reality? One explanation is that the brain sort of disconnects from external information. In this paper, Chris Timmerman proposes that DMT disrupts the brain's normal way of processing sensory input. The technical term is functional deafferentation.
It's a state of disconnected consciousness. We're disconnected from the external environment individuals feel.
Instead, the brain shifts into a completely new state, a kind of internal simulation.
They report that they are in an immersive world of experience.
But where does this other world come from? One clue to unravel this mystery could be dreaming. All those weird things that happen in our dreams seem similar to what people describe on DMT.
They are disconnected from their immediate environments, and their own brains and the organism as a whole is reconstructing an alternative world of experience. It's very similar to what happens during DMT experiences.
So it pretty much just, I ain't gonna lie, on some scientific shit, let's try and think about it like a scientist for a second. Chat, fuck it. Let's say it unlocks your unconsciousness, right? So maybe all the secret shit that you probably hiding or feeling towards a motherfucker, maybe when you smoke this shit or take this shit, drink this shit, I don't know, however you take the shit, maybe the shit just start making you say what the fuck was on your chest to begin with. Don't take this shit though, bro. You take this, yo, don't take this shit. I was gonna make a joke, but no, this not even a joking move right now, bro. Don't take this shit. Stay away from psychedelics, bro. For everybody that's in my chat, stay away from psychedelics. Deadass. And if I catch any of my Maniac Mafia on that bullshit, I promise you, I'm gonna handle you personally, chat. Personally. I'm not tolerating none of that shit from none of y'all. I love y'all too much to see y'all go down some stupid shit like that.
Peak of a DMT trip.
Wow.
The same patterns are found during REM sleep. He writes that a DMT trip is like dreaming with your eyes open, except that DMT trips are usually far more intense and vivid than normal dreams. Neuroscientist Andrew Gallimore has a theory about why that is. In our dreams, the brain sort of rebuilds our real-life experiences, drawing on established patterns of information. But on DMT, those familiar templates come undone. Everything becomes more open, chaotic, and unpredictable.
It's like you're seeing the world anew, like you've never seen it before. Your brain, you haven't decided what you're seeing. And coupled with this increased sensitivity to sensory information, the world becomes transcendent. It becomes much more vivid.
Which brings us to one of the wildest DMT experiences of all, encountering spiritual entities or sentient beings. There are different theories about these types of encounters. One study
drugs don't make
brain
you see
behave under the
fucking
influence
spirits,
of DMT.
bro.
These areas are essential for recognizing social cues and processing the emotional dynamics of human interaction.
So when we have our normal experiences and we interact with our partners or co-workers, our sons and daughters, these same systems also start engaging in the brain.
In turn, these areas become active when we try to understand someone else's thoughts and feelings, or more specifically, when we try to distinguish their mental state from our own.
Empathy.
So right now we're working with a hypothesis based on what we found, that in essence what DMT does, it engages parts of what we call social cognition, the ways in which we build up our relationships in the world.
In the hyperconnected DMT brain, these two regions engage far more intensely with each other and with other areas.
And so we believe that that enhances or pronounces or enable the appearances of these beings or entities. It's almost as if we simulate those social relations.
Put simply, the brain massively ramps up its resources for processing social signals. And that could explain why so many DMT users encounter these entities or beings. Another key to understanding the substance could be just how similar DMT trips seem to feel to so-called near-death experiences. Such experiences can occur during traffic accidents, suicide attempts, and cardiac arrests.
Wow.
Many report a sense of brightness,
Niggas
seeing the light at the
is
end of the tunnel,
wildin', bro.
losing track of time and space, or gaining insight into some ultimate truth.
The features that are similar to the near-death experiences and the DMT experiences are that feeling that many people have that they have reached a sort of boundary or a limit of where they can go in this alternate reality or universe.
Timmerman thinks these near-death experiences could also be linked to global hyperconnectivity.
That is such a big transformation of the mind, such a big transformation of the brain, that it is likely that the brain is sending a signal that it's dying, that it is being transformed beyond recognition.
No shit!
In other
When
words,
you take
there's so
this
much
shit,
going
you're
on in the
fucking
brain during
killing
the DMT
yourself.
trip that the brain blows all of its fuses. It basically thinks it's dying.
Obviously, this does
And yet,
damage to the
there's one
body.
major difference between DMT trips and near-death experiences.
DMT is more visual, and near-death experiences are more disembodied.
Then again, near-death experiences are also far from being fully understood. This makes it even harder to draw reliable scientific conclusions with regard to DMT.
Bro, there's no fucking research that needs to be done. There's the fucking research. If you almost die taking this shit, don't do it. You touched fire one time as a kid. What the fuck did you learn? This shit is hot. You never did it again, right? My nigga, you touched something sharp as a kid. What happened? You cut yourself. You became more careful with blades, right? Don't, yo. It's really only these types of motherfuckers, chat, that you gotta tell this shit to over and over again. Because these are the only motherfuckers that just keep touching shit. Stop touching shit. You are fucking it up for the rest of us. Please. Stop touching shit.
Back in the 90s, Rick Strassman proposed a bold hypothesis that the spirit molecule, DMT, might be released during crucial life events like birth, death, or profound mystical
Like, the human race
experiences.
ain't need none of this, bro. We would have
Today,
been
there
just
is
fine
strong
without
evidence suggesting
DMT,
that
not
DMT
knowing
is
what this
produced
was,
naturally
not
from
ever
mammalian
taking
brains.
this plant. None of
Scientists
this,
are
bro.
still investigating
You could have
why
kept
that
this
is.
shit with the niggas in the
Early
tribe, bro.
findings suggest that DMT release in the brain correlates with a massive surge of stress hormones. One experiment with lab rats showed a significant increase in DMT levels following cardiac arrest. Another study suggests that releasing DMT in the brain could also have a protective function. The compound appears to activate a receptor that helps brain cells survive oxygen deprivation and oxidative stress. So DMT might as well be a kind of built-in emergency medication for life-threatening situations. And a very recent study suggests that DMT levels in our brain might be much higher than previously assumed,
Shut the fuck
and that
up.
it may be involved in a
That's
number of
propaganda.
physiological processes. So here's what we know so far. DMT occurs naturally in plants, mammals, and humans. It's even considered endogenous, meaning our own bodies may produce.
You know what also grows naturally? Cocaine. And you just told us at the beginning of the video not to take that shit, right? Right? You know what also grow? Heroin. Yo, bro. Alright, bro. Alright, bro. Alright, bro. Cool, bro.
Use it. We also know
Ooh, bro.
that when on DMT, our brain seems to be far more interconnected, that it activates so many different areas that it can feel like entering an entirely different world, one where we can communicate with all sorts of otherworldly beings.
That's some white people shit right there. That's some white people shit.
And in some cases, our brain gets so overwhelmed by this hyperconnected state that it thinks it's dying. But all of this is just the beginning. Early clues, hypotheses, and indications. Nothing more and nothing less. Most of the questions DMT poses to science are still wide open. For now, DMT remains a vast, unsolved mystery. We still don't fully understand how it creates such vivid hallucinations. We don't really know why our own body produces it, and we certainly don't understand how 50 milligrams of this tiny molecule can reshape entire lives in just 20 minutes. We're
Don't
back
do
in the
this
Amazon
shit.
rainforest, about 170 years after Richard Spruce. Once again, a British researcher is attending an ayahuasca ceremony, but things are different this time. Simon Ruffle is not a botanist, he's a psychiatrist. Unlike Spruce, he knows exactly what active compound he's dealing with. For the past decade, he's been studying ayahuasca to explore its potential role in healing trauma, like PTSD in war veterans. But so far, the number of participants has been too small for conclusive results, and some of them feel their mental health has worsened after the ayahuasca experience.
Yeah.
but others show first signs of improvement. In some participants, Relfel has observed significant reductions in depression and anxiety outcomes.
Because they
Zimmerman has seen similar indicators in his own research. His theory:
you can't be fucking mad when you high, bro.
Worthless individuals.
That's
are
with liquor.
unlovable, for example. They adopt beliefs that are no longer useful for them.
I mean, only
DMT
alcohol
does,
make
it
you
acts on
upset
these
when you
brain
fucking
mechanisms
drunk,
that are
bro.
related to that sense of self, and dynamically can change it in a lasting way.
Some studies suggest that meditation and other mindfulness-based practices could offer positive effects that are similar to those of psychedelic experiences. But research on that is also just beginning. Chris Timmerman will continue to explore DMT's medical use, but he's also looking to unravel an even bigger mystery: human consciousness itself.
I'm particularly interested in using DMT to help us understand how we construct our usual worlds of experience.
He's chasing the same secret that made Terence McKenna set out about 60 years ago.
The world that we see out there is not necessarily the same world that is truly out there. We as human beings, our brains construct that world. I'm interested in using DMT to help us understand that construction.
Nah. That's what we have blueprints for, buddy, in agriculture. And for me, like, we have plans for that, bro. We have paper for that. We have actual documents for that. Yo, if you like that video, make sure you drop a like, drop a comment. You feel me? Hit that like button, hit the notification bell. Subscribe, chat, subscribe. Again, I keep seeing y'all loving the videos, and I appreciate y'all for watching. You feel me? But make sure you hit that subscribe button. Chat, click the Twitch link down below to see the reactions live. Twitch, Rymaniac Gaming. I appreciate y'all love and support. You feel me? I'm gonna see y'all in the next one. Thank you for everybody that was here watching the reactions with your boy on YouTube. I'm gonna see y'all in the next one, chat. Peace.